And it also feels kind of heavy, you know, because I look out at all y'all and I think I don't deserve this much love, but I'm going to take it, and I'm going to keep on taking it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank Representative Terry Alexander for bringing your unique Terry-ness to this occasion. And thank you to my brother and my colleague, Representative John King. Every time we hang up and I say I love you, you say I love you more, but I don't think that's possible. I want to thank Congressman Clyburn and Congressman Spratt for being a part of this day, and I am so starstruck that y'all are here. I admire you both so much for your brilliance and for your leadership, and I'm so honored that you're here today. And to my colleagues who traveled long distances to be here, you didn't have to do that, but I'm glad you did. And I'm glad you're getting to see Lancaster. To anybody who hadn't seen Lancaster before, don't just leave after this, see Lancaster. And to my friend James, my friend for years and years, who when I first ran for office a decade ago, he knew I didn't know what I was doing. And he sent people here to get me organized, to live in our house, to work in our headquarters, and to help me figure out how to run a campaign. And I probably never would have run for office again because I know what I was doing then, but I know what I'm doing now. He taught me how to do it, and I thank you for your friendship and for believing in me before you even knew me. And thank you, Kirkland. Y'all, when you get a chance, not right now, but after this, I want you to look up kirklandsmith.com, because as cool as James is and as much as I like hanging around him, I get absolutely starstruck when I see her art. She is amazing. And I was starstruck before, but in this process, I've seen her grace and her goodness. And as Mitch can tell you, campaigns can get so hard. And you know, as I've traveled around doing surrogate work, and Kirkland's traveled doing surrogate work, sometimes his opponents would say these like awful things, and I would want to just lash out, and Kirkland would just see the goodness in everybody. And so for her grace, I admire that so much. She's a master at seeing the best in others. And thank you to my sweet family. Mitch, my law partner, my best friend, the love of my life, who handles my cases when I can't, who handles my appointments when I can't, who does our laundry and our dishes, makes the brownies and lets me take credit for them. And Teddy, my brilliant son, I need you to vote absentee soon because Dad has found a tugboat for you to work on in Charleston, and we're going to send you out to sea for the summer. I'm serious. And Emma, who plays drums all day and night and is more of an activist than I've ever been. I admire y'all more than you ever know. And some of my favorite people in the world are standing here. The saying, it takes a village to raise a child, keeps coming to mind, and y'all have been my village, and I'm so proud to represent my village in the House of Representatives. I carry your lessons with me all the time, and I'm going to carry them into this next phase. You know, I think about my grandparents, and they never would have imagined that I would be in this place today. And my dad always said, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you make an honest living. He was born in a house in the eastern part of this county, and he didn't have a birth certificate. He spent his childhood without electricity or running water. He could see the ground through the floorboards of his house, which was just one room. He left school to join the Navy before he ever graduated. And he says, the Navy fixed my teeth and showed me the world. And I came back with a different perspective, and I benefited from that perspective that my dad had. He came home to work at the bleachery. My mama married him before she finished high school. There was one room in the one typewriter in the typing class at Lancaster High School that had a blue ribbon in it, and her birth certificate happened to have blue type, and she took it in there and changed it and forged her birth certificate so that she could marry my daddy, and shopped around to probate judges and finally found one that didn't realize it was a forgery, and she married him. And then she went to work as a key punch girl for Springs Mills. And working at the mill at that young age, I wonder what they would have thought if they could see their daughter in the future at Colonel Springs' house with our future governor making this announcement. You know, the fact that I'm here is a credit to our textile economy and to our public school system. Lancaster's histories and stories like mine are a microcosm of rural South Carolina. Thanks to the manufacturing economy of our state, kids born to sharecroppers and sustenance farmers were able to grow up and get jobs with health care and a retirement package. And they could have even bigger dreams for their own children, like my parents did. And for me, working at the Bleachery taught me some of the most important lessons of my life. It taught me the value of hard work. It taught me how to treat people who depend on you. It taught me how good it feels at the end of the day to rest after a hard day's work and know that you earned it. And it also taught me to study really hard because I was going to work in the air conditioning one day. And now that those textile jobs and our other manufacturing jobs have gone overseas, I think it's our responsibility as leaders to see that our friends and neighbors have the training that they need for the jobs of today and tomorrow. As a bankruptcy lawyer, I've spent the past several years helping my friends and neighbors and former co-workers at the Bleachery who are facing insolvency and foreclosure. Many of them have had to choose between buying their prescription medications and paying their mortgage. A few years ago, a man walked into my office, and it wasn't for a bankruptcy, although he needed one. He wanted me to notarize a confession of judgment that he had gotten from the hospital. He had 2 grocery bags full of medical bills. His wife had gotten cancer, and they had racked up over $500,000 in medical expenses. And he wanted me to notarize this confession of judgment because he owned a house. He owned it outright without a mortgage. They were going to take his house. And he said, I owe them the money. I got to give them my house. And these stories are common, and they're heartbreaking. And as a state, we have to do better by our people. And that's why I'm so excited about this campaign, because with just a stroke of his pen as governor, James Smith can accept the federal health care dollars that we have been promised. It blows my mind that our prior governors and our current governor have rejected that money. It would mean an $11 billion economic impact to our state and 44,000 new jobs. But more than that, people are dying now who would not die if we accept that money. And as soon as we're elected, James is going to do that. And it's going to be awesome. And y'all, that's reason enough to elect him, right? Yeah. But he's got more. He's got a plan to attract the innovative jobs to our rural areas that have suffered too long under governors who just don't get it. And a big part of that is public education, because everybody knows that the road out of the poorhouse leads past the schoolhouse, right? Public education. It is the great equalizer. It's the promise that no matter who you are or where you come from or what your circumstances are, if you're willing to work hard and sacrifice, you can achieve anything. That was the promise to my parents' generation. That was the promise to my generation, and we took advantage of that. And y'all, when I visit schools now and I talk to little children about what they want to be when they grow up, rich kids, poor kids, kids of all races, they'll give you the same answers. They want to be a doctor. They want to be a lawyer. They want to be the president. But we know it's not as easy today as it was just a generation ago for a child who comes from relative poverty to take advantage of that promise. But James has a plan to change all that. Lancaster's own Jim Hodges was South Carolina's last education governor, and James will be the next education governor for South Carolina. James says he knows that you have to be the education governor in order to be the jobs governor, and we sure need the jobs governor. Y'all, I am so excited about what this means for South Carolina when we elect James Smith as our governor. And I am extra excited about this right here and the opportunity to be a part of this ticket. And there are just a few things that I need from y'all. Number one, I need you to vote. I need you to remind your friends to vote. And I need you to vote on June 12th in the Democratic primary. That is super important. And vote for James Smith. I need you to give. I need your time. I need you to give your energy and your talents and your money. And I need you to pray. Pray for us. Pray for all the candidates on the ticket and for our families. When you pray for me, I can feel your prayers, and I continue to need them, and I ask that you double down on the praying. We can only do this with your help. God bless you, and God bless the state of South Carolina, and thank y'all for being here.